Hello, everyone, and thanks for attending our next session today using ChatGPT to analyze report results. My name is Jim Tower, and I'm the Director of Customer Solutions here at RoboHead. A few reminders as we get started. Please utilize the chat to engage and ask questions. If you want more entries to win more prizes, please feel free to leave us a review on G2. And finally, all the recordings will be available right after each session back on the agenda tab. So we're going to dive right in today and talk about kind of a challenge that we face sometimes when we analyze data or need to get data out of RoboHead. And while RoboHead produces detailed reports, the data is linear, so it's on the screen or it's in Excel, and sometimes it requires manual manipulation to get at the results that you want. So you or certain team members may need certain skill sets to unlock the insights that RoboHead data has. Maybe you don't have a BI person or a BI tool on staff to use. Maybe you're not an Excel expert. And that's really where AI can help with this in analyzing data. So the solution that we're going to show you today is we're going to upload RoboHead data into ChatGPT for analysis. We're going to ask it some real-world questions, and we're going to show you how the AI can give you some visual outputs such as tables, charts, and graphs that can be produced without a skill set in Excel or in some other tool. So the main benefits of this, again, it's going to be fast, accurate data analysis without a lot of manual data manipulation. It also provides you the opportunity to get to know your data better. You might be able to better identify gaps in data entry, for example, for your project information. And you can also identify consistencies or maybe ways that you can change your account or modify your account a little bit to improve the data that you get out of it. There's also an opportunity to quote unquote teach the AI about your specific data set, and we'll show you a few examples of that. Now, before we go into ChatGPT, I actually want to start in RoboHead and talk about getting the data out of RoboHead. To get the data out of RoboHead, you're going to want to run a report. And as we know, there are all these different types of reports that you can run, but you want to choose a report that has the broadest data set possible for your account. So if you're an account that tracks time for projects, or expenses for projects, you'll want to run either the time report or the time and expenses report. So if you're only tracking estimated and actual hours or maybe just actual hours, you'll want to run the time report. But if you have that added layer where you are adding expense and budget data, you want to run a time and expense report. And this is so you get all the possible fields in one spreadsheet that you can download rather than just project information, for example. If you don't track either of those things, that's okay. You can still utilize ChatGPT to analyze your reports in, say, a project report or a review report or a task report. You just won't have access to those other layers of data, some of which we'll be looking at today. So we'll show you an example of the report here. And again, I would choose as many fields as you think are necessary for the questions that you want to ask in ChatGPT. So in this case, I included time slip information, I included task information, and I included project, client, and campaign information all in one report. And the benefit of that, again, is so that you don't have to run multiple reports and upload multiple things into the AI and then, have different sessions doing different things. You can upload one report and ask many things of that one data set. We kind of found that downloading a quarter's worth of data at a time is a pretty good amount for ChatGPT to handle and have the speed still be fairly good and get fairly good output. So in this case, I'm pulling all of my time tracking data between July 1st and September 30th. So this represents the third quarter of this year. Now, once you have your report run, you'll want to run this in Excel, of course. I'm running this on both active and archived projects because I'm going over such a large time frame here of 3 months. Okay, so we'll go back to my browser here and we'll go into ChatGPT and we're going to review a transcript of some questions that I asked it And we started with uploading the file. So I basically said, hey, I'd like to analyze a file containing our third quarter marketing project management data. To upload a file in here, all you need to do is click the paperclip icon and upload the Excel spreadsheet that I just looked at. So you can do the same for your account. The AI responds and basically says, hey, I've received the file, and explains that it's analyzed some of the columns, some of the column names, and kind of how it interprets some of the data. And then it asks, basically what I can do for you next. Okay, so what I started off with is just something very simple. I said, create a table of hours worked by designer. So again, it responded, it kind of told me how it was going to analyze the data. In this case, it actually looked at the wrong column of data first. It couldn't find the task role field. It wasn't smart enough quite to know that designer was one of my task roles. So instead, what it decided to do was output a list of users and hours rather than just my designers. So it listed all the users and all the hours. So what I said next was, hey, that's good, but rerun the analysis using task role to determine which users are designers. So this is kind of nice because you don't have to go and manipulate the spreadsheet or rerun anything. I mean, you basically just tell it what was wrong. Sometimes it apologizes. In this case, it just said, certainly, I'll rerun the analysis. And then down here, I do have 3 designers, so this looks a lot better. And it's showing me the number of hours. So then I said, hey, that's nice. That's exactly what I asked for. But now let's take this a step further. And I want to see a table exactly like this, but broken down by task role across all my task roles, not just my designers. So I said, create the same table broken down by task role. And so what it did in this case is it came up with a table, but it included the users' names, which is not really, it wasn't really my intent to do that. So here it came up with each user, did put in the task role, and then the hours. But the problem with this chart here, or this table, is that I have 3 designers. And what I was really looking for is these 3 sets of hours totaled under one task role instead of broken out by person. So I just responded. I just said, no, I only want the table to include task role and hours worked. So it didn't have a problem with that. You just have to be very specific sometimes with what you ask it and what you want back. So it had no problem creating the new table. Now you can see here it totaled all 3 of those designers' hours up into one roll-up number up here at the top, but I've got all my task roles. Okay, so beyond that, I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. I said, that's good. We have this chart, we have the role and the hours, but I took it a step further and I said, can you create a pie chart based on this table? And this is really where this is becoming pretty powerful now, because I don't have to know how to build charts and graphs in Excel or some other tool. I can basically ask the AI to go ahead and do it for me. Didn't have a problem with this. It did come up with this nice visual chart. It looked pretty good. It had all the task roles broken down. It calculated the percentages and everything for me. But wow, this is kind of ugly. It's all green. Some of these dark green pie pieces, I can't see the numbers behind them. So I said, well, maybe it can recolor the chart for me. So I asked it to do that. So down here, I just said, recolor the pie chart so it's not all green. It came back with this nice brightly colored chart. Still probably doesn't look the best, but it is readable. And I definitely can use it in a presentation I'm doing in a couple weeks. So I took it one step further. I said, hey, can you download this, or can you export this chart in a format suitable for a PowerPoint presentation? So here's my entry right here. Again, it didn't have a problem with that. It recreated the chart for me, and it actually created a link right here where you could download the file. So I downloaded it, and it looked pretty good. It was a very large size. It was very clear, and I'd have no problem using that in a PowerPoint presentation. So then I kind of thought to myself, well, what more can I do with this? Maybe I can start analyzing things about our customers or our clients, and maybe start analyzing why some of our projects were late. So what I asked it next was to list projects for the Butter Council that were over 10 days late. And the Butter Council is just one of my fake clients that I set up in our RoboHead account. So it didn't have a problem with that. It was able to find the correct fields automatically. I didn't have to specify, which fields to look at. It was able to find the project name field, the project due date, the actual completion date, and how many days late that they were. It did have kind of a weird thing in here with these three dots, and that might be an issue with my Excel file. Again, this is a place where you might want to go double check. Maybe there's some blank data somewhere or some non-numeric data somewhere that's causing that. But in general, it came up with this nice list here of all the client or all the projects for that one client that were more than 10 days late, and then how many days they were late as well. Okay, so then I took a look at this and I tried to find, okay, which one of these had the or were the most late, which one was the furthest behind. And in this case, it's the Presence Vision project. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I should schedule a meeting with the team that worked on that project and just get their input and find out, maybe in that case, why that one was so late. So I just asked it who worked on the Presence Vision project. And again, I didn't have to specify a field or a place to look or anything like that. It actually came back and found all of the people that had entered time on that project. So here I've got my 6 people that were on that project team. I then started running out of ideas, and I basically decided to ask it, hey, what other analysis do you recommend based on this spreadsheet? And it came back with 8 options, which I was really surprised about. Some of these things look more in depth than others, and some of them may be easy to do, some of them may not be easy to do, but they were pretty on point and pretty interesting. So a time tracking analysis, workload distribution, task and project status overview, and so on. Um, the one that looked the most interesting to me was this client project analysis. So examine the distribution of projects across different clients and identify which clients have the most projects, highest workload, or most delayed projects. So what I decided to do is just ask it to perform that analysis, number 4. So I just said, perform number 4 above, client project analysis. So it told me what it was doing, it started working, and it came up with some more tables for me. So here is my list of clients, number of projects, total hours worked. It also did an analysis for me automatically on late projects and average project delays. So here's my list of clients, how many projects, hours worked, and then the average project delay. In this case, my average project delay was pretty consistent across all of my customers. So that's good in that I don't think customers are causing these delays. I think it's actually an internal process thing that maybe we need to discuss. So this data can be pretty valuable because, again, this can tell me, hey, maybe we need to revisit our project templates. Maybe we need to revisit our processes and see how we can get this overall delay down across all of our customers. Okay, so I think we've just maybe tipped the iceberg here with what the AI can do with some of your RoboHead data. So I really encourage you to play around with this, and maybe you'll think of things I didn't, but hopefully that spurs some ideas for you. Just a few things before we wrap up here for today. So just a few key takeaways. Again, download a broad data set Excel report from RoboHead. Usually it would be at least a task report or a time and expense report. Again, double check your results as many times as you feel are necessary so that you're comfortable with what the AI is telling you and showing you. Give it corrections when necessary, and be creative. Try some things we didn't look at today. And then finally, let it do the work. So let it be a tool in your toolbox that you can use along with RoboHead. Okay, so up next is Matt Forbes, and he's going to be talking about right-sizing project templates. So looking forward to that one, and see you soon.